Hey everyone, we've got a new Player of the Week section on eFootball. We've also got a bunch of new nominating contract packs. I'll be reviewing those separately, so keep your eyes out for those. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description, so if there's a particular player you want to hear about in this review, click the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So, let's have a look at what we got. A couple of 4 stars. Majecki from Monaco. So, we got a 4-star goalkeeper and pretty solid all his goalkeeping attributes. Not many keepers are consistent across all their attributes. They're normally a bit weaker on 1 or 2, so he's got a consistency across his attributes there, but none of them are amazing. Nothing's going to be 90 plus even with the game plan boost. He is a 4-star keeper, defensive goalkeeper, high punt. Yeah, not amazing. If you're desperate for a goalie, if you're lacking goalkeeper options, you're new to the game, might be useful for you. Otherwise, he's not brilliant, and according to Konami logic, as always, a goalkeeper who performs really well can't jump. Got to mention that as always. Maybe they'll fix that one day, who knows. But yeah, he's a 4-star keeper. If you're desperate for a keeper, he might be useful. Otherwise, he's nothing special. And over Adli, we've had him before in Player of the Week. So Adli is an orchestrator. The previous Player of the Week one, I think, was a creative playmaker. This one's slightly better though. There's been a couple of similar ones that go to a similar level that they put in those legend boxes, trainable ones. So if you got one of them, you probably don't need this one. But yeah, he's had a slight boost across the board really. Physically, they're boosting quite a bit. Yeah, as an orchestrator, that play style will be active centre mid. So as a centre midfielder, he'll play like a kind of deep line playmaker. He'll hang back quite a bit. He'll want to just get on the ball and play passes forward. Very tidy on the ball with the ball control there in the 90s. Passing was really nice as well. Outside of that, he's not the most mobile. He's got 6'1", not the quickest, not brilliant balance. He's not a dribbler, even though the dribbling's alright. So he's not going to feel brilliant on the ball. But he's like I say, he's an orchestrator. So you don't really need those strengths in those areas necessarily. Stamina's not brilliant. You can probably get away with that as an orchestrator, but he will probably still get tired. So keep an eye on that. In terms of his skills, they have, what have they given him? I'm not sure what they've given him, to be honest. I'm going to have a quick check on eFootball, have a look at his base card, see what they've added to him. So they've taken away scissors feint, and they've given him, what they've given him? 1-touch pass. Nice. That's a good swap. So scissors feint, not particularly useful. 1-touch pass is useful. Through passing with it. Already got through passing, weighted pass. Outside curve's a nice one. Soul control's a nice one. Long range shooting. No defensive skills. So as a centre mid, you would need 1 or 2 midfielders behind him doing the defensive work. But yeah, if you've got those other midfielders doing the defensive work for him, as a deep line playmaker, like I say, with the skills he's got, with great passing, very tidy on the ball, could be a very useful player. As an attacking midfielder, I think likewise could be very useful. He won't have a play style active because Orchestrator's not active there, but as an attacking midfielder, again, not the quickest, not going to be much of a dribbler, but getting him on the ball, picking a pass, could be very useful. So yeah, 2 uses for him. He's not an amazing card by any means. I mean, he's 92 rated, obviously. But with the strengths he's got, if he suits you, if you're not too bothered about the pace and mobility, you just want technical ability and the ability to pick a pass and create a goal, he could be a useful card to pick up. So yeah, it's not a bad one, this. Now this one I'm excited about as a Newcastle fan, because this guy's actually a Newcastle player. He's on loan at Feyenoord. He destroyed Ajax in a 6-0 win at the weekend. So he's had a bit of a boost all around. But as always, they've messed with his on-the-ball ability. I don't know why they keep doing that compared to his base card. I think his dribbling's gone up a bit, but the ball control type possession, not so much. I just don't get why they boost pretty much everything on a player except what he's best at when he's played at his best. It's just bizarre, but yeah, nonetheless, if you look at it in isolation, crazy pace, really nice dribbling, but elsewhere this is a 4-star card. So yeah, pretty much everything else in the 70s really that matters. Could be worse, but he is lacking in product. He can't pass really. His finishing's not brilliant. If we look at his skills, they have given him, they've added long range curler, first time shot, and 1-touch pass. He already had through passing, already had heel trick. So he's got a nice selection of skills there. He can only play 1 position as a prolific winger, wide right. So he's not got a lot of versatility there. But in that position with those skills, he's got good skills: long range curler and first time shot. 76 finishing. So his finishing will be decent, not amazing, but decent. And with through passing and 1-touch pass, they will improve his passing, but it still won't be great. So be careful not to ask too much from his passing. But yeah, if you pick this guy up, obviously he's a bit limited, very one-dimensional, but with the pace, the dribbling, cutting in onto his left foot off the right flank, with the decent finishing that he's got, yeah, could be a useful one. I think certainly for guys like myself who support Newcastle or Feyenoord fans, you'd be really excited to pick this guy up. But yeah, outside of that, a bit one-dimensional, could be better to be honest, but he does have some strengths there. It could be a fun one. Then we have Geny Catamo from Sporting. So this guy's normally a winger. They've made him a fullback, right back. They've given him the attacking fullback playing style. He's left-footed though. Keep that in mind. So does have a very strong weaker foot, but he's a left footer. So if you play him on the right, I'm not sure how comfortable he'll be there. They have boosted his defensive ability and his physicals, and his finishing's had a nice boost as well. This guy's versatile, so boost to his defensives. Looking at the skills as well, he's added interception there. He can play as a fullback. Obviously, that's what this card is based on. Could be a very attacking fullback. I'm not sure where he's best. So as a fullback, defensively, could be better. The awareness should hit 80 with the game plan boost. Outside of that, a little bit weak, but he does have interception. Great pace for fullback. Physical contact's not too bad for a fullback, but could be better. Balance is decent. Stamina's a bit poor. He will get tired. Keep an eye on that. On the ball, nice for a fullback. Passing, not great for a fullback. Certainly crossing, he's not got pinpoint crossing. His lofted pass is poor. So yeah, if you're playing him at right back, and especially if he's a left footer, remember, he could be a bit limited when he gets forward, and a bit limited defensively. So not sure how suitable he is to play in that position. If you're playing him as a wide midfielder, if it's like as a wing back in like a 3-5-2 type of formation or 3-4-3, the stamina is going to hold him back a lot. Outside of that, he's fantastic with the pace, a bit of defensive ability, pretty tidy on the ball. Could be a really fantastic wing back, but the stamina will hold him back, and possibly the passing as well. I think the best way to use this guy as a left footer, I would play him as a forward on the right hand side, because with that 80 finishing, with long range curler and first time shot, he's got outside curler as well, and with that pace as well though, I think he'll be most effective on the right as a forward, cutting inside onto his left foot. I think, yeah, that'll be the position I play him. He can't cross it, so I wouldn't put him on the left. And like I say, I don't think he quite suits right back. You could get away with him as a very attacking right back, but I think as a forward on the right hand side, cutting onto his left foot, they've added first time shot, outside curler, and interception, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, first time shot, long range curler, one touch pass helps as well. But yeah, wide out forward, he's not brilliant on the ball, but with that pace and the ability he's got, I think similar to Minteh, to be honest. I'd play him in the same position as Minteh with the pace. Just doesn't have the dribbling of Minteh, a bit more end product though. Yeah, could be useful. I think Sporting fans will like him a lot. He is versatile. He could get away with him in other positions, but I think best suited to playing on the right wing as a forward. Could be a useful one. Great pace. Yeah, could be a nice card. It's not a brilliant one. This is an interesting card. We've got our first booster of this pack. We've got Ward-Prowse, and we have a whole player, James Ward-Prowse. So we had an orchestrating player of the week quite a while ago. Quite a similar ability to this. We've had a couple of versions of Ward-Prowse in legend boxes that went to a similar level. Obviously, those ones would be trainable. If you have one of those, you might prefer that to this. But yeah, with the whole player playing style, this is an interesting one. As you can see down there, amazing at set pieces, scored from a corner. Great passing, technically very sound, but obviously he's not a dribbler. If you know anything about this guy, you'll know he's not much of a dribbler. He's not got much pace. It's not what he's all about. But similar to Adli, really, it's all about technical ability. You get him on the ball, you pick a pass or a shot. If we have a look at his skills, we'll look at the booster in a second, but with the skills, they've added long range curler and through passing at the expense of penalty specialist and captaincy. I think that's a couple of very good trades there. So we've got some great shooting skills there. Heel chick's nice. And then they've got the one touch pass, through passing, weighted pass, pinpoint crossing, low lofted pass. He's got some fantastic passing on him. Interception as well. You could get away with him as a centre midfielder, very attacking centre midfielder. Game plan boost, he should be 70 plus on all of these defensive skills, interception as well. So again, like I was saying with Adli, you'd need one or two midfielders behind him doing the defensive work, but you could get away with him in centre mid. Does not have the pace to play right midfield, even if he has amazing crossing. As an attacking midfielder, though, with the whole player playing style active, I think that's definitely where he's going to be best. All about end product, get him on the ball, pick a pass or a shot. He's had a nice boost across the board in his attributes, but as I mentioned, this is the booster, so if we activate the booster, he's just absolutely absurd from set pieces. So yeah, and the finishing as well, and when he's on A form with the game plan boost, he'll be 80 plus for finishing as well. With his shooting skills, could have a very nice shot on him, high kicking power, but those set pieces, 99 and 97, this guy is going to be amazing from free kicks. So yeah, like I said with Adli, you know, it's another one of these cards. If you don't like players who are slow, if you want a bit more pace and mobility, you want a dribbler, then he's not going to really suit you. But if you don't mind the fact he's a bit slow, he's not much of a dribbler, then look at his strengths. If those suit you, ability on the ball, ability to pick a pass, a shot, and those crazy set pieces when he's on A form, it could be a really, really fun one to use, especially with the whole player playing style, because he's going to be taking up some good positions from attacking midfield. So yeah, if this guy suits you, he could be a really, really fun card to pick up. I think this is a good one. Then we have Mancini, scored the winning goal in the Rome derby. So they've changed him from an extra front man to a destroyer. I personally prefer that. I don't like extra front man because they go wandering forward and you know, vacating their position. But he's a destroyer this time. We had a build-up version in Player of the Week that was pretty similar on the whole, to be honest. So if you already got that one, this one's not really much better, I don't think. Different playing style though, that might suit you better. Slight boost to his pace and his physicals. Otherwise, not a lot has changed from his base card, really. It's a reasonable version of him. He doesn't have great defensive engagement, but the rest of his defenses are pretty solid. Aerial and physically pretty strong. And if we look at the skills, just one change, they've given him man marking. I don't think there's been a version of him in the game with man marking, so that's a big addition. That's an important one for a centre-back. Already got heading and aerial superiority, and then he's got interception, blocker, sliding tackle, fighting spirit. The only one he's really missing as a centre-back now is acrobatic clearance. So good selection of skills there. Man marking, a big addition, like I say. So yeah, the defensive engagement is a bit on the low side, but outside of that, this is a pretty solid centre-back card. If you've not seen Politano's goal from the weekend, check it out. Absolutely beautiful volley. So first thing we did was go straight to Politano's skills. They've obviously given him first time shot and acrobatic finishing. I'm not sure it's the most acrobatic volley, but it was some hit though. Already got long range code and long range shooting, so he's got some great shooting skills here. Heel trick as well, pinpoint crossing. Super sub. So we got a super sub. But yeah, looking at his attributes, again, they've actually nerfed his ability on the ball. Why did they do that? Everywhere else he's had a bit of a boost, really. Like I said, with the skills, you've got some good shooting skills, 83 finishing. This guy's going to have a shot on him. So playing him on the right-hand side with his left foot, cutting inside, getting some shots away could be very effective. The passing's all right. It could be better. He's got pinpoint crossing, so if you cut inside and put a cross in, he could have a decent cross in. Not an amazing one, though. Even though they've nerfed his ability in the ball for some ridiculous reason, he's still tidy on the ball. He can dribble. He's got a low centre of gravity at 171 centimetres. 82 is good for attacking awareness, prolific winger. He'll be taking up some good positions coming off the right flank. Decent pace, balance is all right. Not the best stamina. He'll get tired. Could be best used as a super sub, but yeah, he's versatile as well. You could play him as a wide forward on the left with a kind of a decent enough cross on him. He doesn't have outside curler. Not the strongest weaker foot, but could be worse. So yeah, you could play him on the left hand side as well. Get some crossing, cutting inside. SS, I think he could be pretty effective. He won't have a playing style active there. But if you play him as an SS, getting into good positions with the good attacking awareness, good finishing, could be effective there. But certainly from the right, cutting inside into his left foot, his ability to shoot on his left foot, yeah, could be a very decent card. So yeah, again, another one where they've got a winger, attacking player who's apparently not as good on the ball as he normally is, even though this is a Player of the Week card. It's really annoying the way they do things like this. But apart from that, he's got a lot of ability there. Should have some very nice shooting. I think he's a very useful card, especially as a super sub. So yeah, decent card that. Now got an interesting version of Rico Lewis. So normally he's a fullback finisher. They made him a box to box. He can play as a defensive midfielder or as a right back. In terms of his abilities, they've boosted him pretty much across the board except his lower body attributes. So his lower body, speed, kicking power and stamina, they've nerfed them all. They've taken a bunch of points off all three of them. Why? Why bother? I don't understand why they do stuff like this. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind compared to his base card. His lower body attributes have all been reduced a bit, but apart from that, he has been boosted pretty much across the board. And I think, I mean, compared to his base card, obviously he's not going to be as effective as a fullback because he's lost a bit of his speed and his stamina. But if you look at this card in isolation, he's still got reasonable pace for a fullback, a physical balance, stamina, all pretty good for a fullback. Defensively, pretty good for fullback. On the ball, passing, he's a pretty good fullback, to be honest. It's a real shame they took away some of his speed, because if they hadn't have done that, I mean, maybe that's why they'd done that, because he would have been a bit OP as a fullback. But this is a pretty solid fullback card if you play him as a fullback. As a defensive mid, pretty tidy on the ball, pretty good passing, pretty good defensively, good pace for a defensive mid. And again, I mean, everywhere he's pretty good for a defensive mid. So this is a useful card. It's going to come down to the skills, because normally Rico Lewis just has captaincy. That's all he's got. But they've given him a bunch of skills. I don't think I've ever seen so many skills added to a Player of the Week card. So soul control is nice. That's a nice bonus. But one-touch pass, through passing, pinpoint crossing, gamesmanship not too important, although he's quite small. Could get knocked at the ball easy, so he might get you a free kick once or twice, get you out of jail. Interception, crucial. Still got captaincy and fighting spirit. So with those skills they've added, I think he's very useful in both those positions. So like I say, a bit of a shame they took some of his lower body away, because outside, if they hadn't done that as a right back, I think he'd been even better. But even though they've done that with the boost they've given him across the board and all his other attributes, I think it's a really useful card. He could do a really solid job as a right back, likewise defensive mid. Just needs a face scan, because what is that? But he'll get one soon. He's a young talent. He'll definitely get a real face soon. So yeah, no real weakness there. I think this is a really useful card. A shame they reduced a few of his attributes, but very useful right back or defensive mid. I think that's a good card, that. And then we have another Havertz. We've had a bunch of versions of Havertz in the past. So he's had some different play styles. He got changed from a whole player to a deep line forward, and then the whole player, I forget what he is now. I think he's a whole player now, and now this version is deep line forward. So yeah, they've changed him from his normal playing style of whole player to deep line forward, but he's previously been a deep line forward, so it's not that unusual to have a deep line forward version of him. I've just confused myself talking about those play styles, but yeah, he's a deep line forward basically. Again, they made him worse on the ball. He's got a nice boost on his finishing and his physical attributes, but they've given a fair reduction on his three kind of dribbling attributes, the technique there. Outside of that, pretty similar to his base card, a reasonable boost, slight boost. So, he's got good awareness, good finishing. I think as a centre forward with the deep line forward playing style, it's not everyone's favourite playing style. I don't like it. Then he won't be very aggressive with his attacking runs. He'll be kind of hanging back, looking to get involved in the build-up. But he could probably do all three of those roles, to be honest. If we just have a quick look at his skills, they've taken away cut behind and turn, and they've added one-touch pass along with through passing. That does make him usable as an attacking mid. Certainly SS he can play. He's got first-time shot as well, heel trick, acrobatic finishing, long-range shooting, rising shot, long-range goal. So he's got some shooting ability, and he's got that passing as well. Pinpoint crossing, I don't think is going to really come into the equation, but the fact that he can pass and shoot, I think all three of those positions he could be useful. He's got reasonable pace. Keep in mind he's about 6'4". He's a tall guy. Not got a brilliant balance. He's not going to feel great on the ball. He might feel a little bit awkward. He doesn't have great physical contact either, so I wouldn't be asking too much of him on the ball. But yeah, reasonable pace. Stamina could be worse. Even though they've nerfed him on the ball, he's still not too bad on the ball. And like I say, the awareness is good, the finishing is good, the passing should be good. I'm not sure which of those positions he's best in. If you play him attacking mid, the deep line forward playing style will not be active. So with high attacking awareness, you might find his kind of attacking movement is the most proactive as an attacking midfielder, and he can play that role with the passing he's got. As an SS or a centre forward, he's got the awareness and finishing, so it could be a useful one. We've had similar versions of Havertz in the past, so I think if you've got a good version of him, you probably don't need this one. I think ultimately it comes down to the trade-off. If you've got another version of him, even if you've got the GP card is better on the ball, but it doesn't quite have the finishing or the physicals. So if you prefer those technicals, you're probably better off just getting the GP card. But if you want the physicals and the finishing, then you might want this one. But the thing is, if you want those physicals, you want to make the most of how good he is physically, you'd probably want to put aerial superiority and heading on him, but you can't because it's a Player of the Week card. So yeah, I think to be honest, it's a slightly frustrating version of him, but looking at it in isolation, it is a good one. It could be a pretty effective card in all three of his positions. So it's not a bad card to pick up, but if you've got another version of him, you might not feel like you need this one. So yeah, not the best version of Havertz, but it's certainly got some quality. And now we have another booster, Nico Williams. So this for me is the best version of Nico Williams we've had. I think it's the highest rated, but they've changed his playstyle from prolific winger to a whole player. They've given him a nice boost across the board, but shock horror, they've nerfed his dribbling. So he's a bit worse on the ball than he normally is. But he's still good on the ball. He's got a bit more end product than he normally has with the passing and finishing. He's got great pace, pretty good balance and stamina, unwavering form. And if we look at the skills, they have added through passing, which is a nice one to add. So already got outside curler, that's a nice one. Long range curler, very nice one. A whole bunch of dribbly stuff. For the dribblers who like their skill moves, this guy could be really fun. But with long range curler and through passing, playing on the left, cutting in onto his right foot could be very effective. Whole player playing style will be active left midfield. It won't be active as a wide forward on either side. If you play him as a left or right midfielder, that will be an active playing style. Will be taking up some nice positions. With the pace, his ability on the ball, with the skills he's got, it can be very effective. As you've probably seen, this is a booster, so we hit the booster, and what happens is he gets better on the ball. It's passing as well, but I love the fact that, as with a lot of these cards, they've nerfed his dribbling compared to his GP card. But if he's on A form and he gets the maximum boost, his ability on the ball gets improved so much that it's almost as good as his GP card. I mean, what kind of nonsense is this? Seriously, come on, just stop it. Come on, Konami. But yeah, again, you got to ignore the nonsense and look at it in isolation. On A form, especially, even without the boost, but on A form with the maximum boost, great on the ball. He's got a bit of end product about him. Great pace. Got a bunch of those skill moves for the dribblers, and he's got a bit of end product as well. I think this is a really nice card. As a left midfielder, especially with the whole player playing style active, could be really, really dangerous. 2-footed, unwavering. Yeah, I like the look of this card. I think it's one of the best cards in this pack. Looks really fun. Very good card. And speaking of very good cards, we have a bit of a beast of a centre back. So you need the maximum boost on this card. He's got the booster, and when you get that booster, he's a beast. Even without it, he's pretty solid though. They've changed him from his regular playstyle of build up to destroyer. That might not be everyone's cup of tea. I'd prefer him as a build up, to be honest. That's the only negative for me with this card, really. I'd prefer him as a build up, but destroyer's not too dissimilar to build up. He's just going to be a bit more aggressive. He's going to step forward out of the defense a bit more often. But yeah, so he's a destroyer version. They have boosted his lower body attributes, so his speed, his kicking power, and his stamina. Didn't really need the speed boost, but I think the kicking power is a key one, because his kicking power normally sucks. So that's a nice boost that he's got there. His passing's been boosted a bit as well, and his jumping slightly as well. But they've nerfed his defending ability. His defending attributes are lower than his base card. So yeah, same as Nico Williams, really. Sure, he's okay defensively. None of these are particularly weak. None of them are particularly amazing, though. But when you get his base card, his GP card, and you max him out, and you train him up with auto allocation of his points, he gets to 90 plus in all his defensives. So why is a player of the weak version of him worse defensively? I don't know. I'm sick of them doing this, but that's what it is. But we'll check that booster in a second. But yeah, he's had some nice boosts to some of his attributes, though. It's basically worse defending, better everything else. But I do think with the lower body, especially the kicking power, that is a nice boost. We'll have a quick look at his skills. There's another big positive here. Interception. They've added interception. It's got rising shot as well. It's not really going to come in handy, is it? Let's be honest. But man marking, got interception now. Blocker, aerial superiority, sliding tackle. I think acrobatic clearance and heading, the two that he's missing, but you can live without those two, I think. I think he's got a pretty good selection of skills for a centre-back. And as I said, we do have a booster. So if we activate that booster, there you go. He gets a boost on his defensive, so almost as good as his base card, his GP card. Same with Nico Williams. Absolute nonsense, but yeah. You've got to look at it in isolation, I guess. In isolation, you've got a centre-back who, with the game plan boost when he's on A form, will be 90 plus in all his defensives. He's over 90 for speed. There are not many centre-backs with over 90 for speed, apart from some of the big-time booster, epic, legends, whatever you call them. Great pace for a centre-back. Physical is pretty decent. It could be better, to be fair. I think it's slightly higher on his GP card. But still, with the strengths he's got, with the speed, and his defensive abilities, I think he's a really good centre-back. Jumping could be better, but he's quite tall. He's 6'4", he's got aerial superiority, so I don't think he'll be weak in the air, but he could be better. So yeah, the kind of aerial and physical, slight concern, but with the pace and the fact his defenses go as high as they do, even though his GP card is slightly better, I think you've got to be honest and look at this guy. With the pace he's got, you've got to say there aren't many centre-backs with that kind of pace. He's defensively strong, got a pretty good selection of skills. For me, this is a really nice centre-back card. And also when you get the game plan boost, his low and lofted pass will be 70 plus, which is nice. So yeah, and his finishing 72 actually. I don't know if his finishing is normally that high. So yeah, he's actually got a reasonable finish on him. But yeah, crazy pace, defensively strong. I think this is a really good centre-back card. So yeah, another nice card. Just weird how they want to reduce some of his most important abilities until you get the boost. And like I say with Nico Williams, you get the full boost with A form. He's almost as good at defending as his GP card. I just think that's ludicrous. But yeah, again, look at it in isolation. Really strong centre-back card. I'd like to pick this guy up. So there you go. I think there's some decent ones in there, to be honest. I think that those last two we looked at, Williams and Van der Ven, are pretty strong cards. I think Lewis is a really useful one if you pick him up. I think Ward-Prowse could be a lot of fun. I think some of these other cards could be pretty fun to use as well. I think the goalkeeper's not the best, but apart from that, pretty strong selection, to be honest, certainly compared to some of the recent ones. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully you found that useful. And before I go, I will of course use my latest position trainer and have another attempt at getting SS and Rui Costa. We got left midfield last time. I'm going to leave that on there. Try the second slot. Come on. Oh well. Hopefully you found this video useful. Thanks for watching as always. I'll be uploading those other videos reviewing the nominating contract pack soon and the match pass players, so keep your eyes out for those. But yeah, cheers for watching. I'll see you next time.